really glad you are here. Take a slow breath in, and as you settle into this moment, I want to invite you to consider something surprisingly simple. Think about a food you loved as a child. Maybe it was something homemade. Maybe it came from a restaurant. Maybe it was something inexpensive that appeared regularly at the dinner table. As you picture it, notice what arises inside you. Is there warmth, comfort, nostalgia? Perhaps even sadness. Many of us assume that our memories are stored like photographs. We imagine that what happened is what happened, and everyone who was there remembers it more or less the same way. But the longer we live, and the more people we get to know, the more we discover that this is rarely true. Two people can sit at the same table, eat the same meal, grow up in the same house, and carry completely different emotional memories of the experience. The truth is that we do not simply remember events. We remember what those events meant to us. We remember how they made us feel. We remember what we believed about ourselves, our families, and the world while those moments were unfolding. And over time, those emotional meanings become woven into our memories so deeply that we often cannot separate the two. Today, we are exploring perspective. We are exploring emotional memory. And perhaps most importantly, we are exploring the invisible stories that shape the way we experience the world around us. Take another slow breath in, and let's begin. One of the most fascinating discoveries in psychology is that human beings do not experience reality as passive observers. We are not cameras recording footage. We are meaning-making creatures. Every moment of every day, our minds are interpreting, filtering, organizing, and assigning significance to what we experience. Imagine two children growing up in the same household. They share the same parents. They attend the same schools. They celebrate the same holidays. Years later, one child remembers a loving and supportive childhood, while the other remembers feeling lonely or misunderstood. From the outside, this can seem impossible. How could two people who lived through the same events carry such different stories? The answer is that they were never actually living the exact same experience. While the external circumstances may have been similar, their internal worlds were different. One child may have felt seen and understood during certain moments. Another may have interpreted those same moments through a lens of uncertainty or insecurity. The event itself remained the same, but the emotional meaning attached to it was entirely unique. This is not because one person is lying, or because one memory is necessarily more accurate than the other. Human memory is not a perfect recording device. Memory is a reconstruction. Each time we recall an event, we revisit not only the facts but also the emotions, interpretations, and beliefs that were attached to it. This realization can be incredibly freeing. It reminds us that our perspective is not the only perspective. The way we experience something is real, but it is not necessarily the whole story. Others may be carrying a completely different emotional truth about the same event. When we begin to understand this, something powerful happens. We become less attached to proving that our version of reality is the correct one. Instead, we become curious about how other people arrived at theirs. As we move through life, our brains are constantly evaluating experiences. Most of this happens automatically and outside of our conscious awareness. Every interaction, conversation, smell, taste, sound, and environment is quietly being assessed by a deeper part of the mind. At a basic level, the brain is asking questions such as, was I safe? Was I loved? Did I belong? Was I accepted? Was I rejected? Did I have enough? Did I feel powerless? These questions may never be spoken aloud, but they influence how experiences become stored in memory. Think about a favorite song from your teenage years. The song itself may be objectively ordinary. Someone else may hear it and feel nothing at all. Yet when you hear it, an entire world comes rushing back. Suddenly, you remember a summer evening, a first love, a difficult breakup, or a moment when you felt truly understood. The song has become more than sound. It has become a container for emotion. The same thing happens with foods, places, scents, traditions, and even objects. A particular perfume may remind someone of a beloved grandmother. A specific holiday decoration may evoke feelings of excitement and connection. A certain street may instantly bring back memories of heartbreak. The object itself is neutral, but the emotional meaning attached to it transforms the experience. Over time, these emotional tags become so familiar that we stop noticing them. We simply assume that our reactions are obvious and logical. We assume everyone else sees things the same way. Yet often what we are reacting to is not the object in front of us. We are reacting to years of accumulated emotional associations. Understanding this can help us become more compassionate toward ourselves. Sometimes we judge our reactions because they seem irrational or overly emotional. But when we trace them back to the emotional tags, attached to our memories. They often make perfect sense. What we call preference is sometimes memory. What we call instinct is sometimes emotional history. And what we call reality is often a blend of the present moment and the stories we have carried for years. Sometimes the most powerful lessons about human nature come from the most ordinary moments, not from dramatic life events or major turning points, but from simple conversations about everyday things. A favorite meal, a family tradition, a song on the radio, a smell drifting through the air. Imagine two people sitting together, discussing a bowl of ramen noodles. One person smiles as they remember it. The noodles remind them of childhood, family dinners, and a feeling of comfort. There is warmth in the memory, familiarity, safety. The meal feels connected to home. The other person has a very different reaction. The same bowl of noodles reminds them of financial hardship. It reminds them of times when there were few options and not enough resources. The memory carries a sense of struggle. While the food itself may be harmless, the emotional meaning attached to it feels heavy. What is fascinating is that neither person is reacting to the noodles. They are reacting to the emotional story surrounding the noodles. The food has become a symbol. It carries meaning far beyond its ingredients. In another family, a child may have loved a certain inexpensive meal because it was only available occasionally. Perhaps siblings needed special diets, or circumstances made the meal feel like a rare treat. Years later, the food still carries the emotional feeling of being special. Not because the food itself is extraordinary, but because of what it represented at the time. This is true for so many things in life. A worn-out blanket may feel priceless to one person and meaningless to another. A small house may feel comforting to someone who remembers family closeness, and restrictive to someone who remembers feeling trapped. The object remains the same, but the emotional meaning changes everything. The next time you find yourself confused by someone else's reaction, consider this possibility. Perhaps you are both looking at the same object, but seeing entirely different emotional worlds. One reason human relationships can be so challenging is that we often assume we are discussing facts when we are actually discussing meanings. We think we are arguing about a situation, but beneath the surface we are often reacting to memories, beliefs, and emotional associations that developed long ago. Consider how often disagreements begin with confusion. One person says, "Something feels exciting." Another says, "It feels stressful." One person sees opportunity. Another sees risk. One person sees freedom. Another sees uncertainty. Both people may be looking at the exact same circumstance. What creates the difference is not necessarily the event itself. It is the emotional lens through which the event is being viewed. That lens may have been shaped by childhood experiences, family dynamics, previous relationships, cultural messages, or personal successes and failures. Someone who grew up in an unpredictable environment may value stability above all else. Someone who grew up feeling restricted may value freedom. Neither preference is inherently right or wrong. Both are understandable responses to earlier experiences. This becomes especially important in close relationships. Partners often assume they understand each other's reactions because they are discussing the same topic. Yet what they may not realize is that entirely different emotional histories are sitting beneath the conversation. Many conflicts soften when people move from defending their perspective to exploring the meaning behind it. The question shifts from, "Why would you think that?" to, "Help me understand what this represents for you." When people feel understood at that level, connection becomes possible. Not because everyone agrees, but because everyone feels seen. Curiosity is one of the most powerful tools we have for creating understanding. It allows us to move beyond assumptions and into genuine connection. It replaces certainty with exploration. It invites us to learn rather than defend. When we encounter a reaction that surprises us, our first impulse is often judgment. We may think someone is overreacting, being too sensitive, or viewing a situation incorrectly. Yet these assumptions rarely bring us closer together. More often, they create distance. Curiosity asks a different question. Instead of asking, "Why are they acting this way?" curiosity asks, "What might this mean to them?" This small shift opens an entirely new doorway. Behind many strong reactions is a story. Behind many preferences is a memory. Behind many fears is an experience that once felt very real and very important. When we become curious about those stories, we begin to understand people in a deeper and more compassionate way. Curiosity also helps us understand ourselves. Sometimes we have strong emotional reactions that seem disproportionate to the situation. Rather than criticizing ourselves, we can become curious What does this remind me of? When have I felt this before? What story might I still be carrying? Often the answers reveal something important. Not something broken, but something human. Something that deserves understanding rather than judgment. The more curious we become, the less threatened we feel by differences. We begin to see that people are not difficult simply for the sake of being difficult. Most are responding to the world through the emotional maps they developed while trying to navigate life. And when we remember that, compassion becomes much easier. Many of the preferences, habits, and decisions we make as adults are influenced by emotional stories we no longer consciously remember. These stories quietly shape how we interpret the world, what we seek, what we avoid, and what feels familiar. The restaurant you choose, the type of home you prefer, the music you listen to, the way you handle money, the way you approach relationships. All of these may be influenced by experiences that occurred years or even decades ago. Sometimes we are responding to the present moment, but often we are also responding to emotional echoes from the past. We may not realize it, yet old experiences continue to shape present-day choices. This is not necessarily a problem. Many of these stories provide comfort, meaning, and a sense of identity. They remind us of who we are and where we came from. They help us feel connected to our history. The challenge comes when we mistake these stories for objective reality. We forget that our emotional lens is only one lens among many. We begin to assume that everyone should see things the way we do. Growth often begins when we recognize that our perspective is a perspective. This realization creates space. It allows us to honor our experiences while remaining open to the experiences of others. And perhaps that openness is one of the greatest gifts we can offer ourselves. Not the abandonment of our story, but the willingness to recognize that every person we meet is carrying a story of their own. The more we understand this, the more gently we can move through the world. I would like to invite you into a simple exercise. This is not about changing your memories. It is not about deciding whether your perspective is right or wrong. It is simply an opportunity to become aware of the emotional meanings that may still be living beneath the surface of your everyday experiences. Take a slow, comfortable breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment, and then gently breathe out through your mouth. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow your jaw to relax. Let your body settle into the support beneath you. There is nowhere you need to go and nothing you need to accomplish in this moment. Simply allow yourself to be present. Now bring to mind something ordinary. It could be a food, a song, a scent, a place, a tradition. Something simple that carries an emotional feeling for you. Don't overthink it. Trust the first thing that appears. As you hold this object or memory in your awareness, notice what emotions arise. Do you feel comfort, joy, sadness, gratitude, longing? Perhaps a mixture of several emotions at once. There is no need to analyze them. Simply observe them. Imagine that these emotions are connected to a thread. And now, with curiosity and kindness, begin following that thread backward through time. Allow your mind to drift toward the earliest memory connected to this feeling. You may find yourself in a childhood bedroom, a family kitchen, a school hallway, a grandparent's home, or perhaps somewhere entirely unexpected. Do not worry about whether the memory is perfectly accurate. What matters is the feeling. What matters is what this memory represents within your emotional world. Notice the younger version of yourself within that memory. Observe their expression. Notice what they needed. Notice what they were learning about themselves and about life. Perhaps they were learning that they were loved. Perhaps they were learning to be independent. Perhaps they were learning to adapt to uncertainty. Perhaps they were simply doing the best they could with the understanding they had at the time. Take a moment to look at this younger version of yourself with compassion. Not judgment, not correction, compassion. Recognize that they were interpreting the world through the eyes of a child. They were creating meaning from the experiences available to them. They were building emotional maps that would later guide them through life. Now imagine offering them a gentle smile. Perhaps you place a reassuring hand on their shoulder. Perhaps you simply sit beside them. Let them know that you see them. Let them know that their feelings mattered. Let them know that they do not have to carry their story alone. Take another slow breath in. And as you do, notice how this memory, this object, this experience has become part of the person you are today. Not because the event itself was magical, but because of the meaning that was created around it. Allow yourself to feel gratitude for the lessons, gratitude for the memories, and gratitude for the awareness that comes from understanding yourself more deeply. Take one final slow breath and gently return your attention to the present moment. As we come to the end of today's reflection, I want to leave you with a simple idea. The world is not made only of events. It is made of meanings. Every day we move through experiences that seem ordinary on the surface. A meal shared with family, a familiar song, a favorite chair, a holiday tradition, a scent drifting through the air. Yet beneath each of these moments lives an emotional story that is uniquely our own. What comforts one person may remind another of struggle. What feels exciting to one person may feel overwhelming to someone else. What feels familiar to one person may feel completely foreign to another. And often, neither person is wrong. They are simply carrying different emotional histories. This realization has the power to transform the way we relate to others. It invites us to become less certain and more curious, less defensive, and more compassionate. Instead of assuming we understand someone's reaction, we can wonder what meaning exists beneath it. We can ask questions. We can listen. We can create space for experiences that differ from our own. Most importantly, we can offer ourselves that same curiosity. The next time you notice a strong preference, a powerful reaction, or an unexpected emotion, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what does this remind me of? What meaning have I attached to this? What story might be living beneath this feeling? You may discover that many of your preferences are memories in disguise. Many of your reactions are emotional echoes. And many of your strongest feelings are invitations to better understand yourself. Perspective does not require us to abandon our story. It simply asks us to remember that our story is not the only one. Every person you meet is carrying a collection of memories, meanings, hopes, fears, and experiences that have shaped the way they see the world. When we remember that, compassion becomes easier, understanding becomes deeper, and connection becomes possible. Take one final breath in through your nose. And as you move forward into the rest of your day, carry this gentle reminder with you. People rarely react to the thing itself. They react to what the thing means. Your heart is ready. And whenever you need a reminder, I'll be right here.